Good morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. We start this morning's show in the home of famous wood carving artist Henry Watson. These are his tools, the chisel and the mallet. We'll show you how he has created art that's in demand all across the world. Plus, our favorite flower child, Daisy. We catch up with the unstoppable 6-year-old and show you how she's raising awareness and money to find a cure for her deadly disease and save the lives of others. Then Dr. Nick explores something few of us have examined in ourselves: internal sexism, how we may be positioning ourselves from all the wrong angles. But first, you're about to meet artist Henry Watson, whose art is as unique and fascinating as the man himself.
It's like music to your ears.
Henry Watson crafts art like few others in the world.
It's called a lost art, you know. But you know it's not lost because everywhere you go now, you're going to find it's a Watson somewhere.
A Watson is a hand-chiseled, hand-painted, three-dimensional piece of Louisiana history.
What I created in my works is a history lesson. I like to tell people of the days gone by.
Days like the ones he shared and cherished with his grandmother.
I'll tell you what, the best thing happened to me was I stayed with my grandmother. You know, not only did she teach me how to deal with people and how to appreciate your surrounding and to make do with what you had, you know. So it wasn't all of the fancy things, because she never had all that, but she took the simplest things and she lived off it, and she was the happiest person that you ever can imagine.
She was legally blind, so Henry became her eyes. As they traveled the back roads of Point Capee Parish, he described the scenery. In the process, he developed a keen sense of detail in the beauty all around him.
To become good and successful, you do what you know. And what I do know is Louisiana. So I do, and I capture what's in Louisiana. Things that I've seen, things I know about, that I could put in my carving and tell a story.
Henry's art carvings are in homes that range from former governors all the way to the Vatican. Here's a letter from Pope John Paul II, thanking Henry for the carved portrait he did of him on his trip to New Orleans in 1987.
The priests say, we don't get a chance. We don't have nothing written from the Pope, you know, so you got a rarity.
Henry's a rarity too. He's as energetic as he is engaging, gregarious as he is gifted. You have an infectious personality. Where does that come from?
Well, I don't know. People tell me, say, I love your art, I love your work, but I really love you. So whatever I got, I don't want to lose it. I want to keep it.
His friend for nearly 30 years, Gene Seneca, remembers the first day they met.
The first moment I met him, you know, he lived right across the street. I kind of waved a few times, but once we met, we became friends, been friends ever since.
This is a beautiful selection of Henry's work that dates from 1981 to 2016. But it's not Henry's, it's his dear friend Gene's. And Gene brought this over so we could see it, because you'll never find more than 1 or 2 Watsons here. They've already been sold, or he's in the middle of a commission piece. They go that fast. This is the first one Gene bought on that very day they met.
I first met Henry on Sexton Lane. I was selling firecrackers and stopped, and he sold it to me. I had a few dollars in my pocket, so I bought it. And after I purchased it, it was a very good price. I told him, now you got to start putting a price on them, old buddy, because he pretty much gave it away.
What he sold to Gene for $40 then goes for more than $400 today.
And I knew it was a great deal, even though it was the first one I ever saw, because like Henry, I love old cypress, old growth cypress. That's the whole key.
Cypress is the only wood Henry will carve on. Its soft grain, straight lines, and history make it irresistible.
Cypress wood, these trees was cut down out the swamps. They could be 200-300 years old. They cut these trees down, took them to the mill, put them into boards. They built houses, sharecroppers, cabins, barns. I come 150 years later, tear down this old building that's fallen down, and I turn it into three-dimensional carving. So look at the history of the time. So the building I found was 150 years old, but the tree was probably 300 years old before they cut it. So look how many years in the making that were.
Henry first carved 40 years ago in art class at Livonia High School.
15 years as a youngster creating and carving, you had no idea what it would become, what you would do in your life. People said, you always wanted to be an artist? You thought you would be? No. I was just doing something every day because I love doing it. And I tell people, if you enjoy what you do and you do it enough, you're either going to get good at it or you'll quit.
Henry follows the same steps and principles in his art today as he did when he was a teenager. First, he sketches his design onto the cypress.
And once you draw it out, then you start carving it three-dimensional. And the three-dimensional stages goes foreground, middle ground, and background. So as I carve and work, you'll see those stages starting to come out. And then when you see the finished product, you see how it all arrived.
His tools are simple. Different sized, inexpensive chisels he buys at the hardwood store. And a wooden mallet he made by hand.
My mallet was just a 2x4. I cut this piece of 2x4 and I shaped it just for the right weight. So as I carve and beat on it, you don't overwork your hands, and you don't miss the chisel.
This one he's used the last 10 years. But look at the one that preceded it. He used this one for 20 years.
I shaped it and made it, and look how the indentation, that tells you, how long you've been. The years, the hours, the time. Boy, if I lose one of these, I'm like, you're kind of lost. It's like a musician without his instrument, right? So people go, see. And basically what I'm doing, I'm cutting along the lines. Yeah. That after I drew it out, this is the top of the house, and all this got to come out because it's going to be in the background. Like this.
With every beat, he has to strike the right angle and depth.
And see, while I'm doing this and I'm carving and doing, I'm thinking of like music, a song or something, because I'm tapping, I'm making, so I get a little rhythm going. And what I do, I'm entertaining myself so it don't feel like I'm working so hard. So you're starting to see the depth come out?
I am. Are you conscious of the depth, or you just do it however you feel like it?
Yeah, and you do it little at a time. When I first was learning, I went through the back.
After it's carved and painted, it'll transform into a work of art.
From the shingles on to the bricks, it's all in that carve, you see? Wow. All hand carved, from the boards on it. Oh, so you have to pay close attention to the details of everything, see? So
and
you
like
don't want to
the
miss out on
moss
things.
is incredible too.
Yeah, see? And everything got the 3D, all of it 3D is in there. That's the closest thing to real life you're going to get, is like looking out the window.
Henry now sells his art for $6 a square inch. So this large 33 by 27 inch piece would cost $5,300. But the frame would cost nothing.
So you get the frame for free.
Is that right?
That's a little lanyard.
A little lanyard.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
It wouldn't be anything in Louisiana without a little lanyard.
Always lanyard.
right.
That really makes it. Yes, ma'am.
For this one, though, they wheeled and dealed. Jean walked away with the painting. Henry drove away with this 1951 four-door Chevy. Henry remembers the first piece he ever sold and the special woman who bought it.
Lucy Paulange, I met her when I was 15, and she came to a fair and festival, and she saw what I was doing, and she fell in love with it. She said, not just you painting and drawing, you are carving it. She said, that's special. Now I'm 15 and I'm excited because I didn't know who she was at the time. And she said, I love what you're doing, I want to buy something. I said, you want to buy what I got? And I'll never forget, I think I sold the first piece for like $7. And I was happy because somebody wanted to buy something I made. She said, continue doing it. She said, and the world will be the pass through your door.
8 years later, Henry's art did go global.
I got selected to put my work in the World Fair. Ooh. And that opened doors because people came from all over the world to New Orleans to see what Louisiana had to offer. And my work started going. And they would go, wow, I never seen that before. From that point, I knew then, Henry Watson, you're making a niche in the world, because people will call you from Germany. Places I never heard of or been.
He's commissioned by people worldwide to do everything under the sun. Portraits, businesses, favorite musicians, alligators, pelicans, a streetcar named Desire, and Jackson Square, just to name a few. Even the History Channel commissioned Henry to carve a portrait of the Swamp People's Troy Landry.
Like 7 or 8 carvings for them, you know.
I love it.
And they pay you pretty good. The History Channel, one thing about them, they don't have a problem in paying you. And this was they was advertising when you see it coming on, and they did that all over New York. Everywhere you went, on big old buildings.
When Hollywood actress Markie Post was in Henry's neck of the woods filming a movie, she saw his work and commissioned him to create a present for her husband.
Now I'm doing a carving of their house, and they built a house to look exactly like Rosedown Plantation.
No kidding.
I couldn't believe it. I said, you got a house up in North Hollywood of a southern plantation. She said, we always love it. We came down, we got all of the pictures and everything. We went back and built our house like Rosedown. She called me back when he was opening it up. She said, listen at this. So she was taking pictures. He was looking at it and he was crying, said he never ever had a gift like this.
Henry has a gift with people too.
I just watch Henry mingle with the people. He just touched my soul to see that happening. And somewhere along the way, I think I learned that from Henry. It's just being good to people, and it comes right back to you. It's just an amazing thing.
Henry's love for people and Louisiana illuminates through his art.
I'm looking for the little back road, the little church that's back in the woods that you barely notice. And I started thinking, how many songs and hymns were sung in there, you know, how many people, you know, went there. I just, you know, and then I started to recreate. So I capture all of that into the cypress, you know, and I tell the story of where we come from, you know. Those old back roads all had a story, all those old cabins. If these old boys could talk, what a story they'll tell.
Where does your joy come from?
My big joy comes from knowing that I could create a little bit of somebody's past. You know, I'm very passionate about my past and my grandmother and creating and doing, and it shows in my work. But everybody got a past. Everybody got somewhere they come from, or they got something they want to remember. And if I could take that and put it into a storyline, well, I just captured your legacy forever.
If you'd like to contact Henry or just get more information on his work, go to itsawatson.com. And still ahead, we pick up with Daisy, see what the little girl with a big disease is doing to save the lives of others now. Then Dr. Nick explores our own internal sexism. Are you doing it to yourself? Find out as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious GMC and Buick Mark of Excellence Award.
Hi, I'm Robert Meyer, inviting you to spend some of your summer in beautiful New Roads. Hit the water of Falls River for fishing, swimming, boating, and more. Feast on the finest food anywhere at our award-winning restaurants. Get in some retail therapy strolling our unique stores, and take in some of our wonderful culture. Spend a day or spend a week. Whatever you do, spend some time in New Roads.
Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. Well, school across South Louisiana starts in just a week or two. So we caught up with our favorite soon-to-be first grader to find out how Daisy spent her summer and in the process is helping save lives. These folks are dining for Daisy. It's one more way Daisy Prescott is trying to find a cure for her disease, juvenile dermatomyositis. She doesn't want any more children to go through what she has. 20% of all proceeds at Bistro Byron's on this Monday night will help find that cure. How you feeling?
Great.
You look great.
I know.
She's never met a stranger, so tonight's no exception.
We're attacking everybody and interrupting their meal to give them flyers.
So how's your summer?
Great. We went to the beach. We were there for the 4th of July. And so we saw the best fireworks show.
Okay, did you swim in the ocean?
No. Mama said it has bacteria in it.
Bacteria.
Vac.
This summer has been full of excitement. Daisy landed her first movie role, and she's taking acting lessons too.
It's not lessons, it's acting class.
Oh, okay. So what does one do in acting class?
One do.
What do you do in acting class?
Teaches us how to do acting.
And tell me, what was that experience like?
Great. I had a new friend.
Great. Her favorite acting scenes are the happy ones. Yeah, you do happy well.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm always happy. Bad news.
What?
It's almost school time again.
How do you feel about that?
Great. Do you know why?
Tell me.
I'm going in the 1st grade. I go to Miss Delat first, and then I go to Miss Wiedenfeld's room. Weed, and then Feld. Wiedenfeld.
But tonight, Daisy's the teacher, raising awareness about her rare disease. Odds of getting it are 1 in a million. As fate would have it, Crystal Adams has the adult skin form of that same disease. For years, she's looked for other people in Baton Rouge battling her condition. She never did, until tonight.
Happened to come by here and ran into all this, so it was great. Thank you. I'm in remission, so
It's great.
hopefully Daisy will get there.
Daisy's determined. Dining with Daisy follows her Dressing for Daisy fundraiser and growing a Daisy book garden for the Children's Hospital. She's always sowing the seed of hope.
We're about to start round 2.
Tell me what round 2 is.
Round 2 of giving them flyers.
Okay, so I need to let you get back to work, right?
Right.
Other Dining for Daisy events will be held at restaurants every month. For a full list, go to Cure for Daisy on Facebook or Instagram. And still ahead, Dr. Nick explores a rarely discussed topic, internal sexism. How we could be doing it to ourselves and not even know it, as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful and exhausting, unless you choose me. I'm Regina Roselle with KDK Realty. Don't just trust your largest asset to anyone. Go with success. I've sold hundreds of homes over the last 10 years, and I can get you top dollar for your home, as well as get you the best price on your new one. Email me at buywithregina@gmail.com. I'll do all the work. All you have to do is pack. Let's get moving together.
Hi, I'm Ian James, financial advisor and president of Capital Financial Group. Like millions of Americans, you're likely paying higher taxes and higher fees than you probably should. With 20 years of industry experience, I have a proven plan to analyze your investments and reduce hidden costs and fees. You work hard for your money. It's time to let your money work hard for you. Call me, Ian James, for a free, no obligation portfolio review and a brighter financial future.
I have a question for you. Is there an internal sexism in many of us women? Dr. Nick joins us this morning to help us answer that.
I'm a man, but I'm ready. I think just as there can be internalized homophobia, there could be internalized sexism. Women can put themselves down without even knowing it.
Because we're
Whitney,
women and we feel inferior sometimes.
And real quick, let's look at the history. I mean, I'm no great historian, but women once couldn't vote.
Right.
And when they started getting education, the only job they had was a school teacher.
Right.
I mean, we've come a long
And
way.
look at the ministry, what the ministry did to women.
Look at what ministry did to women. Perfectly said. So it's understandable that there could be some internalized sexism.
And we have to break
Women
that.
have, yeah. I think it's a great, it's not a great topic. It's a sad topic, but it's real.
Yeah, yeah. And for one thing, and I'm going to start with this one, Nikki,
Because we found some phrases.
Okay, can you say this? The salary I want is.
Ooh, I don't even know that I can say that.
I know.
But it's like, oh, could you?
Would this be effective? And maybe you don't say it when you're in the interview, or maybe you do. It depends on probably where you are in your career path. But what if you go in your boss and you're having that annual review and you're making $35,000? You say the salary I want is $50,000. What do I need to do to
get
make
there,
that?
to make that happen.
Or is it even possible here? I bet you there are 80% of women out there who just take what's offered.
Yeah.
And they're afraid to ask for anything more. And maybe it's because they think that's all they're worth.
Yeah.
And when we see that women
have to
only
go internal.
Yeah, women, the percentage of what women make for men for the same job
Sure.
is less.
Sure.
Okay,
That's
another
a good
one is okay, I'm beautiful.
I'm beautiful.
So you work with a lot of women, and there are a lot of self
Loathing.
yeah.
Waiting for a compliment. And most of the time, they do come in to see me. They're dressed up. I don't think it has anything to do with me. I just think they want, I'm going to say, wow, you look great today.
Yes, you are.
You sure are pretty.
You're generous with that. But I was reading
But
further
it's true,
about
though,
that.
Whitney. It's great to say it. Even if somebody is not any hot-looking thing, they're still beautiful in their own right.
Oh,
Women need to hear that, and they need to say it. I'm beautiful.
And find out what it is that is especially beautiful. And we know what it is. Sometimes it's someone's smile. They have the prettiest hair, the prettiest
Sure.
skin, the prettiest teeth. We were laughing off camera a few minutes ago. I have Fred Flintstone feet. They're just the ugliest things you've ever seen. And that's probably why I like pretty shoes, because it covers them all up. But,
And the camera doesn't go down. I didn't know it. But that's part of saying I'm beautiful. Is to know the areas that aren't so great.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm beautiful. Yeah, okay. I have Fred Flintstone feet. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. Well, the other one.
My
the other
nose
one,
is too big.
The other one I like too,
I'll
and
pick
I
ourselves apart.
really think it's strong.
Tell me.
For a woman to say, "I'm not happy." I'm not. You help me with the. I don't know. I hear it so often, and it's almost like they say it with terror.
When you're probably the only person they say it to.
I'm just not happy, and I'm like, what? It's okay.
Is it hard for me to
It's
even
okay.
say? Because then it makes it real.
Yes. But again, it's something about I'm not supposed to be unhappy. I'm supposed to be the go-getter, energizer bunny that never stops. I think that's my.
I'm the glue that holds this family
it may
together.
not be quite as bad as that in today's world, but that's the sense that I get. I can't be happy. But if we say I'm not happy, or if I need, or I'm beautiful, or another one, I did good. That was another one we were talking about.
I did
Pick
this.
up on that one. I did this.
Yes.
Not we.
That's right. When you've done something great at work, or you've done something great in any area of your life, and you did it, then say I did it. Don't say we did it, because you deserve the credit. But we often just make it a group project. Yeah, we did that. But on the flip side, let me also take I did this to something that's not so good. You know what? I did this.
I'm responsible for that. I did that. And the apology, yeah.
Right, just
That is the
owning it,
upside.
whether it's
That
the
is
good stuff or
upside.
the bad stuff.
Sure.
That is freeing, and it's sometimes hard for women to say.
Very hard, and it's hard to say no.
Oh.
And I mean, some of this, as I said, overlaps to gender, all genders.
Sure.
But sometimes I get the feeling sometimes that women have a harder time saying no.
Right, we'll do.
With no.
We'll stretch ourselves 20 million directions so that we don't have to disappoint someone else. Yeah. And in the end, as we've talked about before, who's really suffering? It's you, or it's your children, or it's who else you have to break commitments with because you've overbooked.
Sure, or that door slamming, and it's like, I wonder why she did that.
Right, it got to be too much.
I mean, the passive aggressive is real. When you see a lot of that, it's a good sense that you're probably saying yes too much.
We'll remember those phrases this week. Thanks. Dr. Nick.
You're welcome. Thank you, Whitney.
Absolutely. Much more Weekends with Whitney right after this.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you come home.
Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees.
Classic Hits 1033, Scott Ennis. Welcome to the ride home. Put the seatbelts on, hug the babies when you get there. Later. I can't. I'm going to play it later, Chris. Chris, not now. I'm busy. I'm busy right now, buddy. Later. I'm going to play it for you later.
Scott Ennis is back on 1033 Classic Hits.
Delighted you could spend part of your Sunday with us here on Weekends with Whitney. As we leave you this morning, we remember the 3 Baton Rouge police officers who have now all been laid to rest. We look back as an entire nation pays their respects and says their final goodbyes.